faster than a speeding bullet, more powerful than a locomotive, able to leap tall buildings at a single bound.
It's Grizzled Veterans. Ladies and germs, we're back. Grizzled Veterans returns, episode 18. And man, a lot of shit has gone down.
Yes, sir. But before that, introductions are in order as always. I'm Jason Rose.
And I'm your co-host, Donovan Darko Oziak.
And Grizzled Retro returns, as Donovan said, for episode 18. E3 is come and gone. We're a little late, but I think that's fortunate. We haven't had to retread certain things that have happened.
Well, Microsoft provided us a good thing.
Through a curveball. A good thing Grizzled Veterans had the foresight.
Yes,
we had
the foresight
and
to do our podcast this week.
Impressions and information and opinions and all that stuff. But anyway, what's been going on with you otherwise? Personally, Donovan, let's delve into your life.
Well, hey.
As we like to do before we get into the video game nitty-gritty.
I went camping last weekend with a bunch of friends. A little festival I've been going to for the past 12 years is a Solstice Festival.
So you're a hippie?
A little bit.
Donovan's a hippie.
I got some hippie blood in me.
He has hobbit feet.
Shh. I don't want people to know.
You have hobbit feet. I don't know, and that's an electronic hippie festival, right?
Well, sort of, yeah. I mean,
you do those hippie things.
What does that mean?
Make love to trees.
Yeah, you know, we're all hugging trees and sleeping in the dirt and eating lots of vegetables.
That sounds exciting.
No, there was a lot of cool music on the weekend. A lot of DJs come out, and we're dancing under the stars. It's a good time.
Well, while you were out hugging trees and dancing under stars and celebrating the sun, I was on my deathbed.
Yeah, apparently.
I was so sick. I had diverticulitis, but I'm recovering.
Yes,
the Superman strength is coming back.
Yeah,
I have Superman strength, Wolverine healing powers.
There you go. And
the projected time, I always heal quicker than what projected times give me. I'm better, but I'm taking these pills. Man, I was in trouble. Couldn't game. I couldn't look at a screen. My eyes were just bugging out of my face.
That sucks, man.
Yep.
But that's the worst when you're homesick
and you can't even capitalize.
On
yeah. It was bad. It was real bad.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, man.
Gotta go back to the doctors next week, but we should be okay. We should be okay.
I expect a clean bill of health.
See, Grizzled Veterans are what we say we are. We're not spring chickens anymore, unfortunately.
No, man.
I mean, we look kind of young. We look good.
Oh, we're looking good for our age. I mean, I look better than you, but
I don't know about that. I don't know about that at all.
Let's see, who's still got their color?
What the hell does that even mean? Some of the best looking guys in the world have gray hair. My Arctic blonde is my sign.
Actually, no,
Do you understand? No.
I got silvers coming in.
Do you understand how many times I go to the store and girls are like, "Hey, is that your real hair?" And I'm like, "Yeah." They're like, "Wow, it looks amazing. Can I touch it?" I'm like, "Yeah."
Yeah, but I've been getting that since high school.
And then Raquel just comes over his shoulder and just pummels them into oblivion.
Yeah. Well, you're new to that club.
What club?
I've been getting that since high school.
What, from the women?
Oh, yeah, man.
Well, you don't have a girlfriend, though.
Exactly.
You don't get laid.
I didn't say that.
We need to get Donovan laid.
I didn't say that.
Yo, when I was your age,
but
10 at a time for a dime. 10 at a time.
For a dime.
For a dime.
Yeah. I'm not saying I'm not accepting offers.
You need help. One night with me, man, and you'd have it all.
Ugh, I don't know.
Not like me and you. I mean, out with me, my success in the female region area would rub off on you.
That was great.
You need it.
Okay, we need to change topics.
Comedy
now.
gold.
Anyway, so E3, how about them apples?
I like to think his E3 is oranges. No, but anyway, yeah, I guess let's get into video game talk now.
Sure.
So,
I mean, if you want to talk about Superman quick, we can.
We kind of talked about last time. I mean, I loved it. What else is there to say?
I loved it too. Go see it.
Soundtrack super epic.
Yeah.
I felt like I was on a roller coaster ride the whole time I watched it. Like I was gripping my seat and I was like, holy shit.
No, if you haven't seen it yet, kids, go see Man of Steel. It kicks ass.
People that like and all these critiques and shit about it really annoy me. I mean, obviously it doesn't really affect me. I love the movie. I'm still gonna love it regardless of what anyone says. But I think they look too much into it. It's the first of many.
Yeah.
And it's just Superman.
Yeah.
It's awesome action, and who cares how it was paced and stuff. It's just great to hear, great to see. And I mean, what else do you want from a film like a summer blockbuster?
Just let yourself be entertained, people.
Sure.
Anyway,
I give Man of Steel like an 8.5 out of 10.
I'm right there with you.
I liked it a lot. Zod was awesome. Just looks, and then they announced Zod for Injustice to capitalize, but he looks like shit.
Yeah. I'm guessing they'll give him a...
I really hope so, but some people are saying it's not going to happen because they want to set themselves apart from the films, but they're releasing a Man of Steel Superman skin. So I think it's going to happen. Everyone who watched Man of Steel wants to see Zod in his
cool
suit.
battle armor.
Either the armor or like when he sheds the armor and he wears like the Krypton Superman suit.
Sure.
All in black. Like, that's the way, that looks awesome.
Yeah.
This look in Injustice looks terrible.
Well, what's with the goggles?
Yeah, like...
What is that?
That's, I don't know, it's just dumb.
I saw that
it's his comic look.
Yeah.
That was his newest look in the comics. And I don't know, it's like a scientist sort of look. I don't really know, but all I know is it's terrible. And he's got these facial hair lines, and it looks really dumb. I'm all about Jim Lee's designs generally, but not this one. Not one bit.
Not one bit.
Anyway, E3 has come and gone. It was an awesome show.
It was.
It has delivered on the disappointments that the show has carried, at least for me.
This was definitely more exciting than last year.
2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
Oh, last year's was terrible.
Yeah, when I think back.
Last year's show was terrible. Like,
the press conferences this year were way better than last year.
I guess we could just we'll start, like, we'll do it chronologically.
Yeah.
Microsoft started day 0 off of E3.
Yeah.
With their dinger. Their press conference. It was an hour, right?
Yeah.
It was a condensed hour.
Yep. But it was pretty action-packed.
Right away, they started off with a surprise with Metal Gear Solid 5.
Yeah.
Phantom Pain, which is Kojima's traditionally showcased them on Sony's pressers. And this time it is a multi-platform game, of course, but it showcased it there, and wow. Like, it was incredible. It was a really, really strong showing for the game. And
well, then, the trailer is fantastic. The fact that, you got those little sped up bits, so you don't have to like wade through all that stuff. Like, that says a lot on Kojima's part too, that he would actually do that. And
I spilled my Wawa. I'm drinking water, everybody. Don't worry.
He's being good.
I can't, because I was sick. I can't have beers. I meant to throw that in there, so I'm not drinking. I'm gonna be right on the ball today.
Sure.
Right on my balls.
Yes. No.
Anyway, go ahead. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt you.
Shit, I lost my train of thought. But anyway, they had got Kojima on there, and he. That was funny too, because they get him up there to say like basically one sentence, right?
Yeah, a lot of people were joking, like they gave him a boatload of money. They say he looked kind of uncomfortable. But
smart grass.
Yeah, like, what's he saying?
I didn't even know what he said the first time I
didn't pay attention. Yeah. I kind of felt bad for the guy. I love Kojima, though. He's awesome.
No, I love him. And then he's been putting a lot of funny tweets up lately.
But the game, I really like their theme song. It kind of harkens back to Metal Gear Solid 3.
Mm-hmm. I definitely got that same
We
vibe.
saw some lines from Kiefer now, who's officially been shown as Big Boss, the voice, which I guess I couldn't be happier with. That's fine.
Yeah, I'm totally cool with it.
I really like Kiefer.
I do too.
And he's Canadian, which is excellent. It was just sort of surprising, but it definitely started the show off with a bang. And when it's all said and done, Metal Gear Solid 5 and another game we'll talk about later is probably the best. Although they didn't show really gameplay and let people be hands-on with it. To me,
that's
it was
actually true in a lot of cases.
Yeah.
A lot of the one thing that I've been taking away from this, from a lot of sources, is that it was a lot of show and tell, but no touch. Mm-hmm.
Well, yes and no. Later, you don't hear about it a lot, but I mean, there was a lot of games to be played on the show floor in the later days. But anyway.
Interesting that. Well, I know we're going to talk about this again later a bit, but like that Square showed such a strong trailer for Final Fantasy and a gameplay trailer, but didn't have a demo out anywhere to check it.
No. Well, whatever.
We'll get back to that
later. And then, really, Microsoft's what they said is they were going to be all about games. And for the most part, they lived up to it. And also, no, I shouldn't even say for the most part. They did live up to everything that they said. And I mean, now that I guess I'm sort of putting the cart before the horse in our discussion here, but games-wise, I actually felt they had the stronger press conference between them and Sony. Okay. I just, although the games that I was most interested in Metal Gear's in Microsoft's ended up are multi-platform. Yeah. But it's just, I mean, if you're taking people that aren't in the know like us or that we're talking to, don't exactly see them as multi-platform. They just see that as being showcased on Microsoft's console. Sure. They assume that's where it's going to be and that's where they're going to play it. Yeah. So third-party showings, even if they're multi-platform on console pressers, they do matter. Whatever. And you're right. Microsoft probably shelled out a big check to Kojima for that one. Yeah, Microsoft's. I remember I was having a conversation with the guy. You know what? I'll leave this comment for the end when we're done. Yeah. But anyway, I guess they just. I guess we'll roll through the games they talked about. Well, then they brought out Forza. As soon as they were done with Metal Gear, they announced that there's a new Slim. Yeah, I want to touch on that really quickly because I watched the unboxing of it on IGN. Okay. And they've kind of stripped it down in, like, not good ways. Wow. Like, it's got, like, 3 HDMI ports on the back. Yeah, but this is what happens to everyone. Yeah, but now there's no optical port. Yeah. And the AV port for it doesn't even come with component cables. Just comes with RCA cables. Well, yeah, whatever. They always do this with new models. They just cut parts, they cut costs, and the way it goes. Microsoft abandoned the Xbox, the first Xbox, when 360 came out, and everyone didn't think they were going to do it this generation with 360. I don't think they will. I think they are. I mean, first-party support is done. It's just getting third-party games now. Like, that was the one thing a lot of people said. Like 360 had, even in Microsoft's show floor, like their showcase on the floor. Yeah. 360 was just like in the back corner, and that's where the Slim was. But there was no 360 games at this presser. First party 360. Oh, they were just now. I'm like the EA Sports are going to bring their games there. Yeah. The CODs or Call of Duties and Battlefield, like all those big names are still going to come to current gen on the 360. But as far as support from Microsoft Studios and Microsoft themselves with games exclusive to them, it's done. Yeah. Although interestingly, Titanfall, probably the biggest exclusive as of right now, on the Xbox One, is coming to the 360 as well. So I guess that's the big game it's getting. Sure. Other than that, it's pretty much done. Like 360 will not be supported with first party games. Or, like I'm just saying, you take Sony and the PS3, which arguably just got the best game of the generation in The Last of Us. Arguably, like a lot of people think so. It's still getting Gran Turismo 6. It's still getting Beyond Two Souls. Well, PS3 is definitely getting, and that's what I mean. Like I don't mean it's just being abandoned dead. Yeah. It's just comparatively speaking. When Microsoft... Well, at least Sony has first-party titles coming out for the PS3. And that's what I mean. Foreseeable future. And that's what I mean. 360 owners who still want... they're done. Like, they're just done with that console. Yeah. But anyway, it was all about Xbox One, and Forza came out. It looks beautiful. They put a car on stage, which looked really cool. That was a hot car. But again, they didn't really show much in-game. There wasn't a guy playing it. It was another pre-rendered sort of thing. Although I'm sure some of that footage translated to in-game footage. Yeah. There's not much to say about that. There's a lot of driving games at E3 this year. There was, but a lot of people say, driving games are some of the best showcases for early next gen because... you just try to attain what everyone already knows in cars. It's not artistically stretched. You're not trying to achieve some vision that's not already there, or realistic. But I mean, the games are gorgeous. Yeah. All of them are actually, like from Gran Turismo to Drive Club to Forza. I think Forza might look the best. I don't know. It's tough to say. It looks impressive. It looks really nice. It is always on the cutting edge visually, though. Yeah. Like, whatever. I guess there's not much more to say. We got more from Quantum Break.
Yes.
Still don't know what the fuck it is.
Yeah, but it was a pretty neat little trailer.
Yes, like they pause time and they can pick apart crime scenes and pull people out of that. I was disappointed in Quantum Break, if only for the fact I want to know what it is, and I want to know what it's going to look like when I play it. It's supposed to be, is it a launch game or a launch window game? I can't remember.
I think launch window?
I don't know.
They weren't really specific about when it's coming out.
Even if it is a launch window game, like...
But it's Remedy.
I know.
They might...
I know, but still, I expected more.
That they kind of get a bit more leeway when it comes to, we want our game to be out when it's done.
Sure, and they deserve it because they make very good games.
Yeah.
I just wanted to see more from them.
I'll agree with you
other than
there.
a pre-rendered trailer.
Yeah.
I mean, is that indicative of in-game graphics?
I actually think that
is that how
might
the game's
be.
going to play?
I want to believe that that's indicative of what gameplay is going to look like.
Like Quantum Break looks like it takes the mechanic from Remember Me, where you can evade people's memories and stuff and manipulate them, and it takes it like a step further. But I don't know. Like, I don't know how the game plays, so it's hard for me to render judgment on that. The big first gameplay demo we got was from Rise,
right?
The Rome game. What did you think of that?
It looked okay. I mean, the graphics were good, but I mean, from a, I guess that genre or whatever that period doesn't really appeal to me as much.
Okay.
So,
like, I liked it.
I mean, like I said, it looked good. But yeah, I guess for me personally, it didn't really stand out.
It seemed very quick time laden.
A little bit. The combat had quick time in it.
And the more I read about it, it was that the quick times are actually an illusion. You don't even have to pick the correct button for it to do the kill sequence. I read a guy from Polygon that did the playtest, and they were like, okay, he knew he didn't press the right button, it still went ahead with the kill. Then he pressed no button, it still went ahead with the kill. So then he asked the guy, he's like, we designed it because we didn't want people to be frustrated with it. Because that demo was playable on the show floor.
Right, okay.
So I don't know, that kind of worries me. The demo was
a weird design choice.
Okay. I thought visually it looked very nice.
Well, sure.
A lot of shit was happening, and I liked how you could use those tactics to help your team, or your Roman centurions or whatever, form up and with the shield. Like that's pretty sick. And you storm a wall. If they can capitalize on that, that could be the Xbox One's best exclusive game launch title. Yeah, I mean, if they can capture that team aspect, it gives that other nuance that you want from an action game. But we'll see. Mm-hmm. I liked, at least it showed me what it's going to play like. I know what Rise is.
Yeah, and I mean, as far as graphics go, I mean, they were showing Assassin's Creed 4 running on PS3, and it looks substantially better than a 360 or PS3 counterpart. On
the Xbox One, you mean?
No, they did show. I know that they were showing some demos of Assassin's Creed 4 and PS4.
Oh yeah, they had lots. Listen, let's talk about that when we get on, because I have aversions to Assassin's Creed 3 was a mess.
Yeah.
Anyone that thinks this game's going to play well on current gen consoles, because it's another crossover game.
Sure.
It's going to be on next gen and current gen. It's going to be a fucking mess on 360 and the PS3. How it plays on next gen, I don't know, but there's a reason why that game hadn't been shown until now. There's a reason for that. And even then, a lot of people had complaints from the show floor, from what I heard, all around. But we'll get to that.
Sure.
Dead Rising 3, an exclusive title. Mm-hmm. This is another, the tone set, you hear a lot of exclusive being named with certain titles on the Xbox One, which if you're a Microsoft gamer or plan to continue with the Xbox One is really good. Mm-hmm. The difference between Microsoft and Sony is that Microsoft does not own studios. They pay them to be exclusive.
Right.
Without owning them. Microsoft solves a lot of problems with their money in terms of their deficiencies with games.
Sure.
It's just a different way of doing business, and regardless, they're still getting exclusive games, and that's good.
Yeah,
that's good.
But I heard mixed things coming about reaction for Dead Rising 3 from people that have played.
Well, Dead Rising 2 sucked. Well, and I think that's why a lot of people.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Okay, because I think what
and other people were like, it's sort of, it's like, what is it? Is it more a realistic take, or is it still that cartoony take?
Yeah.
They don't know.
Yeah.
Anything else to say about Dead Rising? I mean, it's just another zombie
call
game.
in a missile strike with your cell phone.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, I don't. I don't
You're
really
standing
care.
10 feet away from the missile blast and you live, but
Of course. But, I mean, it's just a fun game. I know people like playing it, and it's zombies.
Yeah.
Anything with zombies in it today sells, so I am too. The Witcher 3, which was an interesting choice. Not an interesting choice on Microsoft's part, but an interesting choice from Project Red, because they made it clear that they were not for DRM stances.
Right.
And any form.
Well, that was the big joke that came out after E3, was that you wouldn't be able to play The Witcher 3 in Poland.
That's right, because it was one of the not identified countries,
Yeah.
which was I thought was strange. And Project has already said that they're coming to the PS4 with The Witcher 3,
Right.
which will be the first Witcher game to come. I actually think the Witcher games are probably the most underrated RPGs of this generation.
to, and I'm having a hard time really.
I started it up on Steam.
Yeah.
I bought it super cheap. I like a steal for like $4.
Oh wow.
Yeah, like insane. It's like the complete edition or collector's edition.
Yeah.
I've made a steal on Steam lately, by the way.
So
I got Alan Wake both and American Nightmare. What is it, American Nightmare?
Yeah.
I got them for $3. Both games.
Oh wow.
Like, I've bought...
Was it the Humble
Sorry,
Bundle?
I
or
bought...
something
No,
else?
it was just a sale. I bought The Witcher 2, I bought Dust and Elysian Tale, and I bought both Alan Wakes for under $10.
Oh my god.
That's insane.
That is insane.
Like, these are AAA. Like, Dust and Elysian Tale is like the one game from XBLA that I really, really, really wanted.
Yeah.
I was pissed it didn't come over.
Right.
And I get to play it on Steam for nothing.
Nice.
Like, that's crazy. Anyway, we're getting on the topic.
Yeah.
Witcher 3, and it looks awesome.
And it's been getting like
People love the developer because they're so open.
Yeah.
Like, The Witcher 2 just released an entire mod kit that they released to the community.
the PC
How many years after release? And now guys are actually making official mods for Witcher 2 to make it play better, add a parry, or when you parry you don't get pushed. There's tons. You should read up about it. It's going to make the game like play way better, and the game already plays really, really well.
Yeah. It's so dense though, like it's really deep.
Very political story.
The story, but also the systems in it, like your item systems and armor and all that stuff, because you can do lots of crafting and all this kind of stuff. And I think maybe because it's all focused on one character, that it's a lot to take in.
Geralt or whatever.
Yeah.
And this will be the final game with Geralt. I'm looking Geralt. Yeah. I'm really looking forward to getting into Witcher 3. I think more people should play it, and more people deserve to play it.
Yeah.
It's like an RPG that has sort of been stuck like on Microsoft, and I think Witcher 2 sold relatively well, but in terms of for what the game is and what it offers, I think the game should sell much better.
I think it did well because it got a lot of positive press. And
critically, it's like, I think it's like a 93 on Metacritic, and I saw tons of 90 plus reviews, 9.5 on Witcher. So whatever, it's gonna be an awesome game. The best game that I saw at Microsoft's presser being played, aside from the Metal Gear rendered trailer, was Battlefield 4. Like, first person shooters obviously aren't either of our fortes, but I have to admit, this game looks insane. Like, it looks like a next gen shooter. Like, and I've seen the Call of Duty at the Microsoft reveal. It shits all over that. Like, it looks way better. Yeah. Now, how it plays is different, and I know Battlefield and COD play differently, and that's sort of the preference. But I was astounded how good that game looked.
Oh no, it's it's dense graphically. Like when they were showing,
there's so much going on.
Like between the particle effects and you're inside, I don't know, it looked like you were inside a ship or something.
It was like an aircraft carrier. And the aircraft carrier is sinking. Like planes are drifting off.
But while you're inside,
so much shit going on, and explosions, and like there's just so much. It looks. That is one of the demos that I saw that truly look next gen. And the one thing I want people listening, I don't know if you've read it elsewhere, maybe you haven't, that these games being shown on video don't even do it close to what these games look like. It doesn't do it justice at all. Like, video has trouble rendering how high these or the bit rate, and I don't know, things beyond me. But basically, the games look way better in person and in motion than video could even capture. Even at 1080p rendered, it still doesn't come out even close. And I think that's important to note for all the games. Like, because I think some people are looking for what looks truly next gen compared to what we have now.
Yeah.
And they're like, what's the difference? Because the difference isn't that obvious.
No, and sometimes it's as simple as particle effects and lighting and things like that.
And it's the little things that matter, but these games, supposedly, you will notice the difference when you see them. You'll be like blown away. Wow. Anyway,
I'm excited.
To me, I think Battlefield 4 was one of the games at the show that I really walked away from, and I was like, wow, it looks like a next-gen shooter.
Well, I mean, and Witcher 3, too. I mean, like, it's... If you, like, look at some of the backgrounds and stuff like that, I mean, it's a totally different type of environment, obviously, but yeah, I mean, like...
And then there was the Halo video. I honestly think they just threw that in there because Halo needs to be a part, and I actually admire that because... People come to a Microsoft presser to hear something about their biggest franchise, which is Halo.
Right.
And I actually think that was one of the most glaring omissions from the Sony presser, but again, we'll get to that as well. Even though Master Chief just showed up in sort of a video capacity and probably has no bearing on what the fucking game's about, it's still cool to see.
Yeah.
And it gets people like, what could it be?
Well, the trailer, the thing that pops out of the sand, that's obviously related to... the enemy he faced in the previous game, so that's what I'm assuming anyway.
And he's in a cool cloak, so whatever.
Yeah, he's in a Journey cloak, and
yeah, see, it was Master Chief as Journey. I saw a lot of jokes like that. Killer Instinct, another exclusive, revitalized, but not being done by Rare.
No. Because let's face it, the people that made Killer Instinct don't work for Rare anymore.
No, Rare is just a shadow of itself now, so unfortunately.
It's kind of better that
it's one of those sad stories. But
I did see an interview clip with one of the devs, and he said that they had pulled in, play tested with one of the original developers, and this guy had basically said, no, you guys are getting the right feel and this kind of thing. So.
It looked a little rough, but it is early, and they even admit it. But seeing the guys do the combos and stuff, that it brought me back to some Killer Instinct. It'll be nice to see the mixed messaging on whether it's free to play, but then they say they offer different ways to buy it.
I thought that was a pretty interesting, when I first heard it, I was like, what's this? But then when you think about it, okay, so you can download the full game for free, and you get Jago.
Yeah, you get one character and then you gotta buy the rest.
And you can play the entire game with that character and go online with it and play online and do everything you could possibly do within the game. And if you want other characters, you can buy other characters.
I understand, but that'll never work for a fighter to make it viable to a wide community. No one's going to do that. But later on, they came and said they will offer... It's a digital-only game, so they will offer a complete package.
Sure.
For $19.99.
Sure, and they're going to give all these different options, right?
And that's all that matters. As long as you can buy everything at one time, I think that's all people want to hear.
Yeah.
So it'll be a nice addition to the fighting game community.
Sure, and I mean, let's face it, most people that play fighting games... They stick to it, maybe two to four characters, mostly?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to be good, yeah.
Yeah.
If you want to be good...
I mean, obviously there are players out there that master the games, but there aren't that many of those out there.
But anyway, let's move quick. Sure. Crimson Dragon, which is in the Panzer Dragoon saga.
I got a soft spot for that.
I have a huge soft spot, and I actually felt really, really bad for them. They had the sound problems.
Yeah.
And they also had the sound problems for the Battlefield demo.
Right.
On both them... I thought the guy handled it really professionally in the Battlefield one, but unfortunately there was no representative for the Crimson Dragoon one, and I actually feel that game needed a bit of the help, and it sort of got shit on there.
Yeah.
I love that series, and it is... I don't know why they insist on making these games, that game, exclusive to Microsoft consoles.
They've done
that. It's like they've done that since the first Xbox, and I never understood why they did it, because all the players who would have played that game on the first Xbox went to Sony platforms. Like, all the Sega fans went to Sony platforms for the most part, and then they made it an Xbox exclusive. Anyway, I'm getting off topic, but it was cool to see.
I got Panzer Dragoon Orta.
Good. More people should have the game.
It's an amazing game. It's an amazing game.
So, which brought us to the closing game and Microsoft's new shooter, Titanfall.
Sure.
Visually, it looked really cool.
Yeah. Apparently no single player.
No, and that's something I learned later, which they didn't really mention at the presser. And it's a multiplayer only game. So my point is, are they going to charge less?
They should charge less.
I agree.
It should be a $40 game. If
I agree.
It's gonna be multiplayer only.
Their excuse was, you spend all these time on single player and guys blow through it in minutes and stuff. I don't think that's true at all. Like, Call of Duty's campaign is always lauded as being awesome. People look forward to it.
There are a lot of people that skip the Call of Duty campaign.
I know, but
completely.
Really? I mean, are we at this point?
I think we are.
With shooters?
With shooters of that nature, I think these guys know what they're talking about when they say that a lot of people... There are a ton of people out there, because we don't know this, because we're not these people, right? But there is a huge number of these Call of Duty fans that buy the game and go straight to multiplayer and don't look back.
True. I mean, I guess by just omitting it right out the bat, though, it kind of doesn't sit well with me. It doesn't give any context for the world. I don't understand what the Titans and all this other shit is. I guess you don't need an excuse to just jump in awesome robots and blow shit up. Yeah. But I like to learn.
I like to have some context.
Yeah.
You want there to be a universe that this is happening in?
Now, Titanfall brought up an interesting concept. A lot of people are hearing a lot from the company about how it incorporates the Microsoft's cloud.
And I'm hearing, we have to wait and see what this is about, because apparently it's a big deal with this game.
Honestly, the game's on the 360. It ain't that big of a fucking deal.
Obviously, there's going to be some significant... I think, personally, these games that are cross-generational, there's going to be some pretty significant differences between the next-gen versions and the current-gen versions.
Okay, and I want to tackle the conversation about the cloud right now.
Yeah.
The infinite power of the cloud we keep hearing.
I don't know what that means.
I want people to understand that it's bullshit for the most part. I've read so much about it, and I'll post links to people way smarter than me that have broken this down.
Yeah.
The cloud is good for dumping certain processes off, and it can help in certain ways, but it cannot make specs higher. It cannot improve power of a system in the way that people think, like completely related to spec. The Xbox One isn't magically going to have 8 gigabytes of GDDR5 RAM.
No.
To make up for the 5 DDR3. It's not going to happen. The cloud won't do that. The concepts, it's dedicated server technology. Now, the idea...
So what they're saying is these cloud servers are a leap forward,
a data center of what the existing. This is not new. What they're doing. Well, this idea has been around and actually been done to lesser extents on games like Mag.
Well, and
for
instance, Forza brought up the whole drivatar thing, and how
it'll drive and learn your tendencies.
How to drive like you do, and that your opponents are
it's going
to drive like human opponents,
and upload it to the cloud. And hey, that's all cool. But I also understand that Sony can do this too.
Yeah,
they have a cloud service. Microsoft's plan for the cloud and where it is now are two completely different things. How they plan to make
making it sound like
that it's their day one, and it's bullshit, and it's really bothering me because these kids and Microsoft's smart. They did it on purpose. It's a fanboy argument to get people roused up that the cloud is somehow going to make the Xbox One some infinitely powerful machine when it's just not going to happen. It doesn't work like that. Basically, a cloud is the cloud right now. Right now, when these systems develop, they are exactly the same. Microsoft wants to expand their Azure cloud service into something bigger. What that becomes remains to be seen. But as it stands now and in the foreseeable future, this shit about making up specs, it just simply does not happen.
That's garbage.
I've read articles from Eurogamer. I've read breakdowns on GAF about this shit. It's magic talk. It's illusion. It just doesn't happen. And they don't even know if it's a good idea to even attempt some of this stuff. That's not even to bring into the aspect of latency. How are you going to make up that latency, the accessing? If it's got to access the cloud on the fly, is the infrastructure magically going to get better? Are fiber optic cables in cities suddenly going to just be use that bandwidth and make it seamless?
Well, that's the thing. How is someone with a 5 megabit DSL modem going to utilize the cloud to its full potential?
There's just so many abstract elements that the logistics of it alone are mind-boggling. And I see this thing and this is the future and stuff like that, and I'm fine with people can believe and talk about what they want, but it just simply isn't so, and I want people to understand that. I think the strategies and the future strategies for both of these companies and what they'd like to do with the cloud are different, but in terms of what they are now are almost exactly the same.
Now, and I know Sony wants to do this Gaikai thing with streaming and stuff. Is that gonna be cloud related, do you think?
It's completely, it is a cloud-based service. And you also have to understand that Sony's investment in the cloud is just as big and wild as what Microsoft has. I think it's just a different strategy. Sony bought Gaikai at a time when they could not afford it. And they spent like $350 to $400 million, and they just didn't have that liquid cash. They don't have the cash that Microsoft has. They were bleeding money. They needed that service for something and saw it as an investment that they should go after, and they did. Listen, like if cloud wasn't important to Sony, they wouldn't have gone out and bought it. And Shuhei Yoshida's even gone on record saying we can do all that stuff. We just don't see it as that big of a deal, so we don't talk about it right now. Like it's not. They can dump processes. They can do all these different things to help. Drive Club, for instance, does a variation of what these games are talking about.
Right.
It's just the technology, the way they're touting, it doesn't happen like that.
And it's going to be years before they fully utilize this.
Yeah, but even still, I mean, the one sticker point is this:
it's not going to make your
the cloud is not going to make your machine more powerful, and because all you have to understand is one day these servers are going to shut off, okay? And they're not going to just do this, shut the server off, and then 75% of your games on your Xbox One console 10 down the road don't play 10 years down the road. That's not going to happen. So take that as you will.
Yeah.
I think that's just an important point that's not being quite covered as well. It's a lot of bullshit PR speak. And you hear the guys, who's developing this game? It's a branch of EA. Titanfall.
That's the Respawn guy.
Respawn. That's I knew it was an R.
Yeah.
There's Remedy. It was a Respawn.
Yeah.
A lot of their talk just sounds like, it sounds like Microsoft gave them a shitload of money, and they're just sort of justifying. The rumors are it's sort of a 1-year exclusive deal with the Xbox One,
sure.
But they've talked how it eventually probably feasibly could come to the PlayStation 4. I assume it will one day. 6 months to a year, who knows?
Kind of like we assume Bayonetta will come to other systems.
See, I'm starting to back off that. I actually don't think that's going to happen now, which is unfortunate. But whatever. Anyway, I sort of went off there on a tangent. I see that more and more, and it bothers me.
Okay, we have to close in on Microsoft here. We have 2 things left to cover. A, they did announce their lovely price.
Yes,
and
$500, which is a lot more than I think a lot of people thought they were going to go for.
Yeah.
That $100 between $400 and $500 is the Kinect,
exactly,
of which they didn't really talk about at all.
They discussed very little Kinect during that press conference, but I was actually surprised.
Yes, I am, because I thought they'd try to justify that in the price, and they didn't. It still remains to be seen, but again, it's interesting, or it needs to be said that this is a marathon. There's a lot of game conferences in between now and release.
Sure.
And they have to say they're spreading out announcements.
Absolutely. And
this goes for Sony too.
Yeah. Well, because we got like Gamescom, TGS.
Yes. And all these things are going to be much more important than they have been in the past.
Yeah.
Because this is new next gen release shit. Then I guess, okay.
So there was all this controversy.
Yeah, about the DRM.
The DRM, the sharing, all that kind of stuff. And then, of course, we didn't record our podcast last week because we knew that Microsoft was going to turn around because they had to, and they reversed all the DRM stuff. So
due to pre-order numbers and fan outcry and what Sony did.
Which is resulting in a huge day 1 patch.
Yes. Ultimately, it's very good for gamers. And it shows that your voice matters. More importantly, your dollars matter, because I think pre-orders were speaking for themselves.
I think what I heard at one point was like 8-1 Sony over Xbox.
I don't... See, it varies from outlet to outlet. Between Amazon to GameSpot to all these GameStops.
We can be clear in saying that Sony had a head start.
Yes. And how does it sit with me? Ultimately, I don't care. I don't trust Sony any more than I trust Microsoft. They're all corporations to get my money.
Yeah.
I don't like the fact that they wanted to do this. Always online, does it really affect me? Probably not. I just didn't want to do it. Ultimately, though, they still do have the Kinect in there and how that plays, and they are $100 more.
Yeah.
We'll see, but it's nice to see that gamers' voices came together and it mattered. And it's I think it's just going to make for a more... It's nice to see Microsoft back. I didn't think they'd do it, man. I think they are far too proud to actually do that.
Well, a lot of people are saying that Microsoft's in the same position this gen that Sony was last gen, and they're making almost the same mistake.
They're putting themselves in a lot of the bravado and ego that we saw from Sony, and it's this third console thing is come out. It's just Microsoft has backed off and they've adjusted on the fly.
Yeah.
But is the damage done? Will they go even further? Who knows? I don't know. We'll see. All in all, what do you give Xbox Presser?
I'm gonna give it an A.
You give it an A?
Yeah, just a flat A.
Yeah. I'll give it an A too. Because games-wise, they delivered on everything they said.
Absolutely. There were no kids on stage.
As a standalone E3 presser, I'm not even talking about what Sony did, okay?
Yeah.
Just as it was streamlined. The games were awesome, and it was paced really, really well. I give it an A.
Mm-hmm. All right.
I guess we got to move on to Sony.
Yeah, we're gonna skip EA and Ubisoft mostly because a lot of the titles
their major games ran into
exactly, and that's why we're gonna. Although maybe we'll just mention that the Division looks pretty cool.
Yeah. Yes, Division looked great.
That was definitely one of the standout
open world sort of apocalyptic shooter, third person
RPG
with RPG elements.
Yeah. Well, they're saying RPG.
It was like a 10-minute demo.
Yeah.
And again, it was an in-game demo, which for a lot of people, Division was their game of the show. A lot of people actually.
It's made a lot of lists.
Yeah,
I've been tracking that game, and it's high on people's lists as far as what.
Yeah, it was impressive.
IPs.
It was very impressive.
I don't usually pay that much attention to a Tom Clancy game, and that's not.
Yes.
I'm not saying this is the way it's been. And this one, I was like, hey, this looks cool.
Sure, and it's third person, which is kind of a little different.
Well, yeah.
There'll probably be an option for first person.
I hope not.
I don't. Well, yeah, I don't know, whatever.
Models look good.
Anyway, Sony's press conference. Let's get into that. I was interested. I was pretty hyped. I knew their press conference was going to be longer than Microsoft's.
Yeah. Well, and they didn't just do games at theirs. So.
No, but it sort of limped at the start.
It wasn't as well paced as Microsoft's.
No, it wasn't at all, actually. And I thought a majority of the speakers they had, other than Shuhei and Jack Trenton, sucked.
Well, the guy that came up to talk about movies and stuff
was terrible.
He was like,
honestly, the worst part. It was absolutely awful.
I was cringing.
I was too. He screwed up. He could not read.
No.
It didn't seem their entertainment options. It was actually very bad. If they were going to present them and address them to compete with Microsoft's entertainment options, it needed to be much better and much more focused, and it wasn't. Even every time Andrew House comes on, he's well spoken, but I attribute Andrew House with the most boring part of every press conference. Whether it's Wonder Book last year, and just the way he goes on, every time he talks, I know it's going to be the most boring part. Unfortunately, and the larger guy they had out there who seemed to talk a lot about the indie stuff.
Oh right.
He kind of sucked too. I like Jack. I like Shuhei. Shuhei's got a charm to him.
Yeah.
But overall, I was kind of disappointed. I thought they'd bring Mark Cerny out again since he did so well, and they didn't.
Yeah.
Whatever. I like Jack. Jack has a lot of a personal. Yeah. He seems to have. You seem to can connect to the guy a bit the way he talks, and I think he's a good reflection for Sony's pressers.
I think so too.
I've not found that, and Microsoft's pressers just seem corporate and somewhat snobby. And I'm not saying Sony's didn't in the past, but it seems Sony's had been at it longer. So it seems they've developed more of a personal rapport.
Sure. In
terms of their presentations. I don't know how much that even fucking means, but I guess just watching it, I feel more connected to their figurehead.
Yeah. But I did find, because Sony didn't just talk about games, there was a couple of parts where I was kind of like, oh, all right.
No, I mean, absolutely. Their initial, it sort of lumbered. They talked a lot about the PS3. They wanted to talk about, they didn't want to forget the successes and the games. This brings us back how the 360 was ignored and relegated other than the new SKU. PS3 was brought out. They still have a lot of indie titles coming out.
Yeah.
They showed a trailer. The big Last of Us trailer was just released that week.
Mm-hmm.
which is
Gran Turismo 6.
Gran Turismo 6 is there. It looks beautiful. And Gran Turismo 6, I believe, is Sony's biggest selling exclusive.
Oh, okay.
It is, like, they sell 6 million each.
Wow.
The games are huge. Gran Turismo 2 sold like 12 million copies.
Wow.
Yeah. Look at the numbers. It's staggering.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's big for them. And it's not big for us, but Gran Turismo is a huge deal.
Yeah.
And it's
My
nice
thing about driving simulator games is that I have fun up to a certain point, and then the game gets too challenging for me.
Yeah, you got to start driving like you're supposed to drive, and that's not as fun.
Yeah.
But Beyond Two Souls, a game that I'm still trying to figure out what exactly this game is.
Sure, but I gotta say that what they did show at E3 was... I was not expecting that.
I don't think a lot of people were, because this is like a tale of two different games. When it was initially unveiled, it was like very psychological. She's talking with the ghost, and the way it goes like that. Ellen Page is the actress who plays it. William Dafoe is actually a main guy in it as well. But now it's like it's got this military. She's like a spy or an agent
in the FBI or something.
There wasn't
like
a lot about the ghost in it.
No,
almost nothing actually.
It was like it was a different game.
A lot of people said it played like shit too.
Oh yeah,
like it demoed like shit, which has me concerned. I hear a lot of emotion and visuals and connection talk from the guys at Quantic Dream, but I don't hear a lot about gameplay. And to hear that the game plays like shit, Heavy Rain wasn't supposed to play amazingly well, and it didn't. But thankfully, there wasn't a lot of gameplay heavy segments. This game seems to be more gameplay heavy, and it's going to detract a lot from it. So it's not a good thing to hear.
No.
So we'll see. I mean, that's sort of like the swan song game, exclusive wise.
Sort of, but
although The Last of Us kind of is.
Yeah, I mean, I think we could still be hearing about stuff coming to the PS.
Yeah, I mean, God of War 2 came out almost a year after the PS3 was released.
Oh wow, I didn't even realize that.
And it was on the PS2, so things like that
I think
happen.
that Sony's going to have a couple things tucked up their sleeve for the PS3 yet.
And it's nice to see, but I mean, is it smart?
Well,
I don't know.
I mean, you have this huge established
install base,
you know, that you're going to sell games to still.
But Sony's had trouble with mixed messaging in terms of consoles between the PSP and Vita, for instance. Is it smart to do that as like supporting it that strongly?
Yeah.
I don't know. But again, these games are coming out before the PS4, so who knows?
Yeah.
It's just great to see. It's nice to see that a whole fan base isn't being ignored just because of next generation hardware is coming out.
Yeah.
You have something down here about Rain.
Yeah, isn't that game? It was one of the indie games that they
again for the PS3
playing
and
as the
PSN.
Ghosts.
Yeah, I think that looks really cool.
It looks great. I just wanted to mention it because it has a very unique style to it, and I'm got my eye on that.
Yeah, no, I do too, and I think that was something that Sony also outlined. Their indie presence was extremely strong. Mm-hmm. But before we get to that and the PS4 stuff, we should talk about the unveiling of the box, which was a huge deal.
Yeah.
What did you think of how it looked?
I think it looks pretty cool.
I think it looks pretty cool too. Yeah. It's just a box.
Exactly. I mean,
whatever.
I need it to look good on my shelf, I guess.
Sure.
You know,
it's compact.
Yep.
It's got that parallelogram.
Yeah, and I like that. I like that they did some interesting angles with it, and
it looks like a Sony.
Yeah, it does. It looks like a Sony console, and it kind of reminds me of the original PS2 in some ways.
Some ways, yeah.
And it's certainly, I think,
it's got the same blue. It's got the blue light, and I think the color.
It looks nicer than the Xbox One.
Yeah, they're both whatever. I mean, I don't think one's better than the other. They're a little different. One's
I think maybe
bigger.
it's just that I think the PS4 looks cooler.
It does look cooler.
Yeah.
It's not as boxy, but ultimately it is what it is. I would have liked to see them leave it on the stage a little bit longer. Andrew House kind of just held it there, and then they ushered it off, and that was it. I was like,
at least in Microsoft,
usually it sort
left it on the stage.
It sort of like fucking floats out of the stage, and there's a bunch of smoke with it, and, or some girls bring it out.
Well, like Nintendo did that with the 3DS,
and I think that's how they presented the PS3. Like two Japanese girls come out and like present it, and Kaz is all smiling and pointing at it. I kind of do too, but Kaz,
like
he's running the company now. Right, he's running the show, so he can't come down and speak to the little people. Well, I'm just joking. Anyway, so off we go on the PS4, and they showed the Dark Sorcerer demo, which was entertaining.
It's not even a game.
I think it will be a game.
You think so?
I think it's like
It certainly showed some pretty awesome tech.
Yeah, it did. But whatever. I don't know.
It's those Quantic guys.
Yeah, but it had a charm to it.
It did. It really did.
It sort of personified again that Sony personable connecting thing. You know, it's not all serious.
No.
You know?
And what I guess the joke now is that I know what is behind the old man's eyes.
Yeah, like because they showed him off at the Sony reveal and look at the emotion, and that was the old man, and they used him in the thing.
David Cage. Oh, David Cage.
Yeah. The Order 1886 unveiled, which was
to write that down. So
Sony Bend's new game. Is it Bend? I can't. No. Shit.
Whatever it is, everything they showed was in engine.
It was. I mean, it started off with a pre-rendered movie, but you could see some of it look like gameplay.
Yeah.
This is a long since rumored new IP. A lot of people say they've been looking forward to it. I don't know. Is it co-op? I don't know much to make of it. I think it looked really cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I have the same sort of version,
steampunkish kind of thing.
Yeah, I have the same sort of version towards 1886 as I do for Xbox One's game that only showed no gameplay. The big exclusive Quantic.
Quantum
Break.
Yeah,
is that what it is? Quantum Break.
Quantum Break. Yes.
Yes, I have the same sort of version. There's no real gameplay there.
Right.
I don't know what to make of it. Whatever. It's a big title, big release. Then the indie stuff. The indie stuff was awesome to see. Sony's making big stride, whereas Microsoft took that and ran with it with 360.
No, it seems like Sony's kind of taken up the reins and
they're allowing people to self-publish and welcoming indie developers is nice to see.
Is Nintendo not doing that as well? With some...
Yeah, but they don't have the infrastructure that the Xbox Live and the PSN does to facilitate that sort of stuff, so they don't get it. And I mean, you have to remember too, Nintendo was a pain in the ass to work with for years back.
They are just coming across as so stubborn these days.
Yeah,
I want to love Nintendo.
That's why we're not really going to talk about it. Like, I mean, I guess we'll touch on it after we finish it.
We're going to talk about E3 and not really talk about Nintendo.
We can talk about it, but I can surmise it all in no release dates. That's all I'll say.
Yeah.
If I was a Wii U fan,
what? I can sum up.
Let's leave it. Let's talk about it after because there's a lot we can talk about. The highlight of the press conference was Square. When last we heard from Square was please be excited, and everyone was so angry. I'm like, and we here on Grizzled Veterans, we just tore them a new one.
Yeah,
and then it happened.
Everything we could have hoped for, I suppose.
Like that, Final Fantasy Versus 13 is now Final Fantasy 15,
which we were already crossing our fingers.
And that game, that trailer, man, I had tingles down my spine. I am so
We're gonna
excited.
gush a little here.
I was so excited because listen, man, there's a Square fanboy and a lot of people that have been gaming a long time, and it's just waiting to just jump out. This game has the potential to do it.
I hope so.
This is a long time coming.
Yeah.
And this realistic take on it has old flavors, the crystal and the political drama, but the soundtrack was there. You know what it reminded me of? The unveiling of Final Fantasy VIII. Now, Final Fantasy VIII isn't one of my favorite Final Fantasies, but the unveiling at, I think it was E3, was insane. Orchestral trailer, incredible cinematics.
Right.
And this did that. I don't know what to say. I was blown away.
Well, and then they gave us the gameplay trailer like the next day.
It wasn't on, the next day, which we can talk about, which
I was like, whoa.
The gameplay trailer to me is even more impressive because not only that, I actually think it's the most innovative game there. If they can accomplish what they showed in that gameplay trailer in the sense of an RPG Final Fantasy structure,
like the battle system is
looks incredible. You're teleporting. You're doing. It's like they take some of the stuff from the new Final Fantasy 13 3 Lightning Returns.
Yeah,
and they're putting in Versus. Some people are like, oh, we were hoping for traditional. Were your ears not open? Versus 13 was always an action RPG. They stated that back in 2006 when they announced it.
Yeah.
I just graphically it looks awesome. It looks to play awesome.
That's going to be the game I buy my system for.
I don't really. I shouldn't say this, but I guess small. I thought it was going to be exclusive because Versus 13 was announced as an exclusive title.
Yeah.
I wonder what happened there. Maybe
it's called We've Been in Development for 7 years and we need money.
But all in all, Final Fantasy 15, even though I can't call it that because there really wasn't... I guess the gameplay trailer is enough. It's my game of the show. That and Metal Gear were...
Those are my 2 takeaways.
I was utterly blown away.
Those are the 2 games that I'm basically waiting for release dates, so I know when I'm going to be buying my new system.
And now that becomes the question. Final Fantasy 15, I loved how the verses morphed into 15. That was really, really cool.
Yeah.
Now the question becomes, how long do we have to wait?
I know.
Because I have almost what I just said with Nintendo when I criticized for them. I have the same sentiment with this. It means nothing to me until I get a release date.
Yeah.
Because it just makes the wait all that much harder.
Yeah. Well, they didn't even see 2014.
No, they didn't, and that worries me.
Yeah. Well, and Metal Gear hasn't done that either.
Metal Gear's going to be out by 2014.
I hope
early 2014.
I hope so, because Kojima just tweeted today that they're behind schedule, which doesn't surprise me.
Kingdom Hearts 3 was announced, but again, it was very bare bones, and even
just an announcement.
Yeah, even Toriyama said that he probably announced it a little too early. But again, it's like
I just to let people know that they're making
it's just like the Halo teaser.
Yeah,
Kingdom Hearts 3, the Halo thing. But again, they're both multi-platform games. Mm-hmm. So whatever.
Which is weird for Kingdom Hearts 3.
It is because both of them have been exclusive, but that's just the way of the world now.
Yeah. It would just seem weird for me. I guess it doesn't really matter.
No, it doesn't. It's just the franchise started where it did, but they got to make money.
Yep.
Final Fantasy 14 actually kind of surprised me. Now it's an MMO, the Realm Reborn. Final Fantasy 14's been out for a while, but that is exclusive to the PS4. And PS3.
Right, and that's coming out this fall.
Yes, and it actually, if you're into MMOs, a lot of people were heralding the Elder Scrolls Online and some other things.
Very meh
I thought it looked like shit.
Yeah.
And guys are saying that's the most impressive MMO. Well, the Realm Reborn is a completely new game.
Yeah.
And it looks to be awesome. Like, visually, it could be the best looking MMO on the market when it's all said and done. And it's Final Fantasy.
It's a shame that they released the original version the way they did.
But it's also a testament to the company to not let it meander. They said, this sucks. We're going to redo it at huge cost to themselves, and they're re-releasing it. And, it is exclusive, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Well, PC and PS.
Yes, yeah, PC, obviously, but thing. Yeah, as far as the Elder Scrolls, I wasn't impressed at all. There's not really much to say about that. Then they dropped the big bombs, though. Or was it... No, that happened after the Destiny, right? Or was Destiny, they closed it?
I think Destiny was at the end, because...
Okay, well, they dropped the big bombs that everyone gives Sony the win for. Jack came on. We haven't really seen personal attacks like this at an E3, ever. Go ahead. All right.
Well, and... Yeah, so first he says... No DRM.
Yeah, right? You will be able to play used games, and the crowd just went nuts.
Yeah, they ate it up.
They went ballistic.
And then it was like, you'll be able to...
The console is not always online.
Not always online.
Crowd again went... Like, I've never heard cheers like that at an E3 as a press
Well, I think because there was so much negativity leading into this as far as the Microsoft
and
perspective
speculation
goes.
and
all
worry.
This is this huge dark cloud, so they just took advantage of that. Now, let's not forget... The one small negative thing that's happening now is that you will have to get PS Plus if you want to play multiplayer.
Again, I mean, I guess you could look at it as negative. I find it's inevitable.
Yeah. That's kind of how I'm looking at it. And in all honesty, with everything that they've shown, like, I will be getting... Yeah,
anyone that thought PSN was going to be free is naive.
Yeah.
And doesn't understand business, because Sony looks at how much money Microsoft made with Xbox Live, and it's insane. Like, the amount of money they made is billions off Xbox Live.
Wow.
Billions. And that is something Sony was not privy to. They will have a much better infrastructure with the PlayStation Network for the PlayStation 4. You gotta understand, the PSN is a patchwork service at this point for the PS3.
Oh, you got that right.
It's like a ball of clay that they just tack shit onto, and now it's just working as broken parts. It's not going to happen like that now.
I'm really glad they got rid of the clunking sound that you used to hear.
Yeah, for the PS4.
They got rid of the sound.
Regardless, like... make no bones about it, the Xbox Live was the better service this gen by far, but PSN kind of closed the gap as later. They still have maintenance problems, they still have downtime, and their updates do take longer, but that'll be a thing of the past with the PlayStation.
The downtime is definitely noticeable compared to, like, I had the first... I was playing some Xbox on Sunday night, and it was the first time in a long time that Xbox Live was down.
Like, PSN was down for all of 2 hours yesterday.
Right.
Which isn't that big of a deal.
No.
But you could still play online. You just couldn't access the store, for instance. But I hear these people, the service, Xbox Live, the service will be neck and neck in terms of options and stuff. Just the aesthetic design will be a little bit different. I actually think for all the bad things that happened to Sony in the PS3 and all the bad decisions, out of that came a lot of good. It's helped them. PS Plus softens the blow. It has everything about it is positive.
Yeah.
So it's like you have such positive vibes with this, and then you marry it into a paid service, and it softens the blow in a lot of ways. Well, and you have this great library of games to take with you. Well, and they basically learned how to do it for this next gen. So all the mistakes they made, they can... Like, PlayStation Plus is universally smiled upon service. Yeah. It's nothing but good. It's tons of value for a lot of great games. Even me, like, I buy almost everything new. I still have a ton of indie games, or PSN games that I get for free, and sales and shit that come on, and even games that I missed out on because who has the time to play everything? No one. And you get it. I've gotten games for free that I've bought, and then I end up trading them in just because I have it for free now. So I make money by having it. Sure. Like Demon Souls came on. Yeah. And this right now is even Deus Ex. There's Deus Ex. There's XCOM. And there's Little Big Planet kart racing. Plus all the Vita games you have. It's a great service, and yes, you have to play, but pay this time around for online, but it is what it is. It's going to be a better service, and it's $50 as opposed to $60 for Xbox. Yeah, so there's that too. Yeah, and the price, they dropped the bomb with the price, $3.99, which is huge. Yeah, huge. And people, that was like the big thing. It was like, it's like, it reminded me of the Oprah Winfrey giveaway when all the moms start throwing shit, a new car, and they're like biting people's arms off. Yeah, no, gamers around the world rejoiced. Yes, they did. And made their pre-orders. $100 cheaper. And it reflected in their pre-orders to start. No PSI in it, though. No. Now, I've since learned that was a late omission about a month before. They cut that to cut the cost down to get under $400. I think there's pros and cons to that. The eye obviously isn't necessary. Yes, but... you're also, I think it had a lot of potential, and by not including it, you're relegating it to failure status. And it also renders some of the tech in the PlayStation 4 controller useless. The whole motion sensor in the PS4 controller now is almost useless. And that's actually a strong argument for Kinect, actually, is what a lot of people are saying, is if they shouldn't make a version of the Xbox One that doesn't have Kinect. And I actually respect them. Well, and this the point being is that if they make a version that doesn't have Kinect, it's not going to promote better use of Kinect. If you're giving it to everybody's got it, then developers are going to find new and cool ways to utilize that tech. So I hear what you're going with. I feel two different ways about it. Now, I'm fully 100% sure that the PlayStation 4 will have multiple SKUs. I guarantee there'll be a SKU at release with the PlayStation Eye in it. I actually think they think there's going to be 3 bundles. The most expensive bundle will probably have the PS Vita in it. Yeah. So we'll see. But I just think even if you include the PSI and put it at $449, you're still cheaper. Like, cheaper is cheaper is cheaper. Yeah. $50, $100, And we suspect that Nintendo will drop the price of the Wii U at the launch of the other side type. And then Destiny to close the show. To me, I actually think that was a big missed opportunity. I think Sony's putting a lot of stock in Destiny. It's a multi-platform title that they're trying to connect a lot to Sony, and it's a big coup for Sony because it's Bungie, who was Microsoft before, but it's like a better looking Borderlands to me. Well, some people have made that comparison. And I think the one big omission from Sony's presser was it was missing the big exclusive announcements. What's Sony known for? huge exclusive games. There's no Uncharted. There's no God of War. There's no whatever.
Well, like Infamous
Second Son was there, and we saw a bit of gameplay, and it looked really good.
They did show like a fairly sizable chunk of gameplay.
That's something we didn't talk about. Shit.
We didn't talk. Yeah.
That's bad.
I think probably because it didn't leave a very lasting impression on me is why I didn't write it down.
What? It was quick though, and it seemed like the story of Infamous Second Son was already told at the reveal.
I say like the gameplay that I saw didn't look radically different from anything that I saw in Infamous.
I mean, I'm sure that it'll.
These got different powers, but the powers looks like
visually the game looks insane. Like a lot of people said, that's actually the best looking game in motion, along with Titanfall.
I wasn't impressed with what I saw. On the main character, I thought looked really good, but some of the enemies I thought looked a little weird.
We'll see.
Like,
I mean, there's a lot of slow motion and shit, and
some of the environments that were destructing were kind of just falling apart in like big blocky shapes, kind of, and I was like, oh, I was expecting it to dissolve into a million particles.
We'll see. I liked Infamous 1. I thought it had a lot of promise. Infamous 2 I was really lukewarm on. It was a good game, but it didn't. I thought it fell apart story-wise.
I think Infamous 1 looks fantastic.
Infamous 2 is a better looking game.
Yeah?
Oh yeah. But it's just
like it's 60 frames per second, I think.
I have no idea, but it's a better looking game. It's just story-wise I had a lot of problems with it. But anyway, Infamous Second Son is really cool to see, but again, it's not a game that sells huge numbers. Where was I think it was just missing that huge IP
God of War
to hammer down
level.
Yeah, like it would have been really cool to see like dueling character quick trailers from Nathan Drake and Kratos, for instance, and just say, revenge is not dead, and then Nathan Drake comes in with a quick quip, and then Uncharted 4 and God of War 4 big banners slam home, end oppressor, drop the fucking mic, roll out.
Yeah, because really a lot of people were thinking that Naughty Dog were gonna surprise with something.
But again, it's a marathon, not a sprint. I think we're gonna hear more at Gamescom, which is gonna be huge for Sony and Microsoft and TGS. You have to understand TGS.
Will be big for Sony.
Yes. Anyway, what did you feel about Sony's presser? What do you give it?
I'm gonna give them a B+.
Okay, so you actually have Microsoft as the better presser.
Only because I thought Microsoft was better paced. Mm-hmm. And then that's why I'll give Sony a B+.
I think your mark plays into the fact that Microsoft reneged on their DRM as well.
I'm basing it just on the press conference itself.
Oh, okay.
As far as presentation goes and like the pace of it, the number of games they showed. Again, I still really enjoyed Sony's, and they nailed it with the big,
Yeah, but you take those announcements out of that presser, and I actually think Microsoft has a better one.
Yeah, and I mean,
but with those pressers,
those draggy moments with the movie guy and stuff like that. So yeah, a B+.
Yeah, I'll give. At the time, I would have given Sony an A+ because those announcements that they announced that hit the home run mattered so much to gamers. Now I'm going to give it an A. I think it's a tie because since Microsoft's reneged, I take that into account. And those announcements trumped with games. Microsoft's best games to me were multi-platform. Sony, I think they missed out on the big exclusive at the end to hammer home. I don't think Destiny was the right game to finish on, but I understand business-wise they want to tie themselves to that. I think it fell flat in a lot of speaking ways. The entertainment fell flat. Huge win for the indie presence.
Yeah.
Something like Microsoft's huge failure we didn't talk about, like touting indies and then bringing up Minecraft. With Minecraft, Mojang makes more fucking money than most AAA companies do.
Yeah.
Like is that indie really? Like even other guys were saying it.
Come on. An Xbox One version of Minecraft? Seriously?
Yeah, like who cares? A game that looks like it was made on the
I know
the SNES.
Oh, you guys that love Minecraft, you keep loving Minecraft.
Oh, it's great, but it's not a showcase. Like Sony's indie scene actually probably was the highlight of their presser in a way, other than the Final Fantasy thing. Like Transistor from the Bastion team. Like is that Super Big Games or?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think I fucked that up a bit, but something like that. Super Poncho looked great. There was tons of games that looked really awesome, quick that they touched on.
I thought that was kind of cool that they had the devs come out and just play a little.
I do too, and they were playing, they're having fun, and that was really cool to see. There's other things I want to say. I'm just trying to condense it here. I know we're running long, but E3's a big show.
Oh, I know.
I mean, I think they both accomplished what they needed to. Microsoft cleverly omitted a lot of the things that people were curious about.
I think Sony also cleverly omitted some stuff too, right? Because we don't still know the full extent of what's going on, like when these systems
tons. There's tons to learn. I mean, It's hard to condense it. Big omission from Sony's was lack of Vita. A lot of people see Vita had a really strong presence on the show floor, but in that presser, it didn't seem like Vita was a big part.
No, and you're right.
They just fleetingly mentioned, which again, it's like they keep saying Vita's gonna happen, but when? When is it gonna happen? It needs a price cut. It needs those. I mean, yes, it's nice. I think the Vita's a great system and it has great games, but it lacks an identity. A lot of people see the Vita and they see dumbed down versions of Uncharted. They see dumbed down versions of all these AAA games and it's like, I don't really need that. And then they see clones coming on it.
Yeah.
Even arguably its best game is Persona 4. That's a port of a 2008 game.
Yeah.
It just
PS2 game.
On a PS2 game at that. Yeah. I love my Vita. I think it's a wonderful piece of technology with a ton of potential. It's gorgeous.
Well, the new Killzone.
Yes, but I mean, beyond Killzone and beyond Tearaway, there is nothing coming out for the Vita that isn't like a clone or some sort of shovelware. I mean,
how about
cross-buy games between the PSN and Vita?
This is totally random, but how about the, what is it, 4th iteration of BlazBlue now?
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, I like that.
Fighting games aren't the place for portables either. So
no, but not even. I mean, that's just
So A's and A's. It was awesome to see. It was dueling and it felt really good. But again, it is a marathon, not a sprint. There's tons to come from both of these guys.
Well, what is our?
They need to answer how these things, their services and options are going to work online. How the sharing stuff's going to work. How the entertainment options work. The SKUs, I mean, all these different. There's so much to fall into place before the final decisions is made.
And while I've made it pretty clear that I'm probably going to get a PlayStation 4 first, I'm not by any means saying I'm never going to get an Xbox One. I've always supported games, period. So it's just a matter of them making the system appealing to me.
Yeah, we'll see. I pre-ordered my PS4 already. I just like what Sony was doing. I like their message and stuff. But since Microsoft's gone, if they had the DRM shit, I would have bought one.
Right.
That 24-hour check-in, and I would have never bought it. It's just a personal aversion to me. But now that they backed off that, I'm taking a wait-and-see approach. We'll see.
I think that's what a lot of people are doing now.
I'm wondering if that price will stand. I don't think Microsoft's going to switch it. I think they're firm.
I think for the first 6 months, you're going to see it.
But if they struggle in that first 6 months and they're getting their ass kicked, I think they're going to drop it quick.
Yeah. But I still say that I doubt that they'll make a Kinect free version.
I agree. I don't think they should either.
No. So
we'll see.
So good luck to all of them, really.
Let's touch on Nintendo's real quick before we go, and then we'll roll it out.
Oh, why? Because my body is ready?
Yeah, whatever. It was terrible. Everyone thought a Direct or a Nintendo smaller presence was a good idea. It's not. It wasn't a good idea at all. They struggled to actually have positive announcements even in that small allotment of time that they had.
And then even the announcements that they made were not the ones that people wanted.
And that's the thing. If I'm a Wii U owner, I hate Nintendo right now. They have given nothing for potential Wii U owners to jump into.
Yeah.
The only thing you wanted is you have all these promises of all these awesome games on the horizon. And it's been like that for a year. And all you got was more of the same. You got no release dates. You have no release date for Bayonetta, Smash Brothers, X. Keep going. There's no release dates for these games. It's like, please be excited. Please wait.
Pikmin's coming, but I mean, even Pikmin is more of a cult game.
Yeah, Pikmin is Pikmin. It's not as impressed with. I'm sorry, it's just not.
It's not.
And it just.
When people weren't very impressed with Super Mario 3D Land.
No, it's just more Super Mario. It's the same shit.
Well, and it basically looks like a new Super Mario Brothers Wii.
Yeah,
instead of it looking like it should have been Galaxy 3.
Which, recently I read an article how Miyamoto doesn't want to. Everyone's asking about F-Zero. I love F-Zero. I prefer crazy racers as opposed to hyper realistic ones. He says we don't expect it anytime soon because we don't feel like we can bring anything new to the table. We like to bring new elements to the game. I'm like, when the fuck has that ever started?
You can bring out Mario Kart 8,
rehashing ideas and shit. Really? Like F-Zero hasn't been seen in forever. You released all these Super Mario rehashes.
They did one on the GameCube, didn't they? And that's the only other one besides the Super Nintendo
Did they?
one? Did they not make one on a GameCube?
God, I don't know.
Oh, if not, then it's been 20 years.
Yes.
And you're trying to tell me you don't
F-Zero
have
is an
anything
awesome game.
and have nothing new to bring to the table.
I don't know. I just don't know what Nintendo's doing. I wanted release dates. I got nothing. I have no reason to buy a Wii U at this point.
Well, what
in
about
time.
retro? You know, like people were like thinking retro was going to surprise everybody with a new Metroid game. Nothing. Donkey Kong.
Yeah.
Who asked for
and
Donkey
even
Kong?
then, but Donkey Kong Country games are great.
I'm not saying they're
But
not.
even this one, people were like, it kind of looks crappy.
It looks the same.
Yeah, and
It
the
looks-
same.
It
yeah.
just looks the same.
Yeah.
Where is Metroid?
Yeah. Like a new third-person Metroid take.
Yeah.
I mean,
Or even like a sequel to Super Metroid or something.
they need games Now, and that question was not answered at all.
Yeah.
Nothing.
I'm sorry, Nintendo.
Like I feel bad for Wii U owners and prospective people. Like I actually was expecting, like, if Nintendo gave me release dates on Smash Brothers, on X,
Well,
on
they're saying
Bayonetta
spring
2
for Smash Brothers, maybe, right? Or no?
No, not even close. They didn't say that.
No.
I think it said 2014.
Oh, okay. I thought I heard maybe spring.
But again, they might have not even given a date.
Yeah. Well, they don't do that. They tell you like 2 weeks before it comes out,
I guess the cool thing was Mega Man is now going to be in Smash Brothers,
which is cool. But
I don't know. To me, I want to see a Mega Man revival.
I want to see.
I don't want to see him in Smash Brothers.
No, I want to see like a Mega Man X game or something.
Yeah,
you know, they
like
did well
whatever.
with the Mega Man 9 and 10. Both did pretty good.
Yeah.
9 is considered to be one of the best games in the Mega Man series.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just
Where's Mega Man X?
it's very, very disappointing in terms of Nintendo, and we'll see. I mean, they got a lot of catching up to do if they can at all.
So what are we looking forward to now?
Well, let's go game of the show. Game of the show for you is what? Final Fantasy 15?
Well, Dark Souls 2 is.
Oh,
looking pretty
that's
hot,
right.
too.
Dark Souls 2. Yeah, was there.
I got way too excited about Final Fantasy not to pick it.
Yeah, if they wouldn't have shown that gameplay, I wouldn't even put it up as an option.
And I would actually put The Witcher pretty high up on that list too, except that I'm having such a weird experience with The Witcher 2 that
a lot of people find that early learning curve difficult.
Yeah.
Once you get past that early stages and get into the meat and get some skills and learn the combat system, it's more enjoyable. Supposedly.
I think that's probably what my hump is, because I haven't gotten that far into it.
My hump.
It's even Wednesday.
But anyway, yeah, Final Fantasy 15 to me was by far my game of the show. Ground Zeroes is really close. Phantom Pain, sorry.
Those are the two games that I'm looking forward to the most.
The truly next gen games were Phantom Pain, Final Fantasy 15, Battlefield 4, Titanfall. I don't know. Exciting times ahead for gamers, but a lot of speculation, a lot of information to fill in.
Well, just you think E3 was exciting this year? Wait till next year.
Yeah, it's awesome. I was super excited for E3. Where we go from here, who knows? Sky is the limit.
What is the next con?
Oh, there's Comic-Con.
Well, Comic-Con and Gamescom, the Tokyo Game Show.
And that's the thing. TGS hasn't been big for years. It's going to be big this year.
I hope so.
And another omission I want to say: The Last Guardian wasn't at Sony's.
No.
And I was super disappointed about it.
Capcom wasn't even hardly at E3.
Yeah, like a lot of people thought Deep Down was going to be there as well. Look for them at TGS and Gamescom.
Oh, absolutely.
I actually think Last Guardian is going to come out at TGS. I do. Because
if they're doing it,
Sony typically uses TGS for a lot of big announcements. They haven't recently.
I think even Jack said, "Don't count The Last Guardian out."
No, there was a lot of
somebody
speculation.
did.
Jack said it was on hiatus.
Yeah.
Shuhei corrected him and said it's not on hiatus. It's in continued development. They don't want to unveil it to the world until it's like almost ready.
Right.
I'm still holding out hope. Studio Japan,
Come on,
baby. Like that would have blown the roof off. Whatever. But a lot of people said, "Oh, Sony doesn't have these exclusives ready." When has Sony ever lost the games race to Microsoft? honestly. Sony's exclusives outnumber Microsoft 2-1.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm not talking about sales here. I'm just talking about great exclusive games. 2-1. They're not going to lose that race again this time around either. Microsoft's made that first initial push at E3, but look at the grand scheme of things. That thing is going to change as well.
Well, Sony's been in the game a little longer, and they've got a lot of Japanese developers.
And even Shuei even said, he goes, "There's a long way to go. We have a lot of announcements left." I mean, they said they have 30 games, exclusive games in development for the first year.
Yeah. Well,
or 20 for the first year. 15 are exclusive, are new IPs.
Right.
Anyway, E3 gets double thumbs up.
Yeah, it was like Christmas, that's for sure.
And unfortunately, we'll wrap this up. I'm still working on The Last of Us. By the time we record again, Donovan will finish The Last of Us as well.
All right.
We'll talk about that. We'll talk about other new game shit that's come out.
I'm still playing Dragon's Dogma.
Nice. Great game. Yeah, like we're sort of running out of time. We're running, an hour and 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So I suppose we're going to have to wrap this. This is our E3 show, episode 18.
Extravaganza.
E3 Extravaganza with the Grizzled veterans. Again, follow us on Twitter. Those links will be below. Our happenings at IGN. New Gamer Nation. Peace. I haven't been too active. I was sick. But look for me. I'm on the comeback trail.
All right.
Just like LL Cool J. Anyway, Grizzled Veterans episode 18. Thanks for listening, guys.
Cheers, guys.
Happy gaming.
Sign. Knife. Swarm. Sign. Knife. Swarm.